Libby, you gonna say hi to the vlog? You gonna start the vlog? No? Okay. See if your sister will. No, but you gonna say hi to the vlog? You gonna start the vlog? I know it's been years. You're not even a puppy anymore. No, you're a whole doggo. You're a whole doggo. Hello, welcome to the vlog. It is, oh shit, what is today? It is Sunday the 2nd. I need to reorganize my shelves. I don't know if you can tell, I have stacks of books literally everywhere right now. One, I just finished filming, but also I've been buying, if you saw my book haul, I've been buying quite a bit of books, so I need to actually like streamline and get some of this taken care of, but I need to reorganize my shelves. All my Harry Potter stuff's up here. I'm not adding to that collection, but I'm not getting rid of it, but I have all of it up here, and then everything else is like the stuff that I'm like actively buying, reading, you know, like that kind of thing. So I need to organize the lower 4 shelves and get those kind of sorted. The top I'm gonna leave kind of alone, but essentially I have, this is like my fantasy section over here, and then we go into, no, sorry, that's my romance section. Romance, and then over here are like some of my like comic books and stuff, and then down here is my fantasy, and then it goes into fantasy over here on the end, and then it goes into like sci-fi, general fiction, and then down here is like my horror, which is basically just my Stephen King collection, like my Stephen King and my Grady Hendrix collection. So I need to kind of shift everything. I'm debating getting rid of my comics. I haven't been really reading my comics, and we have a free little library at work, and I thought about doing that. But I do need to just kind of like streamline everything. Like I have like 5 or 6 books over here that I can't fit. My biggest pet peeve, I'll take you guys over there so you can kind of see, but I do not like having books that are stacked. So like these books right here, how they're stacked, I do not like that. Like I have books down here in my fantasy section that are stacked. Like I'm okay with like if it's a full stack like this, like they're all facing the same way, I'm okay with that. But if it is a stack where like they're sitting on top of ones that are straight, I don't know. I'm diagnosed with OCD, not like the kind where you're like, you know, like I have to have everything organized or whatever. So that's like a very real thing for me. I need to figure that out. But today's the day where I'm going to actually organize everything, because I don't know if I'm going to be buying any more books this year. Probably, like the day is young, it's only March, but I at least want to get it to a place where everything has a place, right? Like I want to start asking for books from publishers again and like making room for that. Like I've always kind of worked with Orbit. Orbit's my favorite, and so I'll probably start requesting books from them again now that I'm filming and like reading a ton. So I just need to get these in order. The other issue is these are the only bookshelves that I'm gonna have here, right? So we have another shelf, you can kind of see it right here in like our kitchen area, and then we have another shelf in our office. And Rocco is like, you don't need books in every room. And I was like, bitch, I absolutely need books in every room. I don't know what you're talking about. So I need to get that organized today. And we're going over to a friend's house for brunch. So I probably have about a half an hour to make that happen. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Oh, you wanna say hello to the papas? Nova. Novi. Oh, Novi laughing. And then we have these 2 best friends. We have Baba Boy, who likes to chew on my finger, and then Lulu, sweet as beans. If you guys don't have a pit bull in your life, you need to find a pit bull to bring into your life because they are absolutely the sweetest. I'm talking as if I've had 18,000 cups of coffee. I gave up caffeine probably like 4 months ago. I haven't had caffeine. I think it's just my ADD. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't know how I'm gonna film this. Hopefully you guys will see some of it, but I just need to organize this fucking, every time I walk past it, because it's right by my front door. There's my front door. Like every time I walk past it, I'm like, I need to do this. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so first things first, I think I'm going to do the romance section. I have so many romance books. I don't know how this happened. Actually, I think I'm gonna need to get rid of my comics first. I just don't like my graphic novels. I will keep, but my like comics, I think they need to go. But like my big thick graphic novels, those are gonna stay because I do genuinely love those. But we have a ton. So I have like all my Stephen King stuff. I have my Roman Dirge stuff. I have, you know, like my Woods comics. The problem I have with these is I just don't collect them. So let's move this over in a way that makes sense. My other issue is my copy of Saga takes up so much space. I guess my next question would be, should these go in the fantasy or the romance section? Somebody let me know down below, because I have them in the romance section, but I feel like they might do better in fantasy. Reminds me, I have all of these over here that I also need to put out. Oh, and then of course my Heartstopper novels are in the romance section as well. Oh, and I'm thinking about, now's a good time. I'm also thinking about unhauling these. Has anybody read these? Do you like them? You can't even see what I'm talking about. Should I keep them? Is it worth it? From what I've heard, it's a ginormous series. So let me know if I should also get rid of these, because they do take up, I mean, it's a whole series. They take up quite a bit of space that I could be using for other things. Ooh, I need to get the third one of this series. This is Lauren Asher. This is the only series by her that I read, and I did really like it, so. Going to, I have 4 books over here that I haven't read that I'm gonna take on, and I'll probably try a chapter challenge with them. So I have Not the Girl You Marry, Conventionally Yours, All Stirred Up, and You Deserve Each Other. I'm gonna do like a 1 chapter challenge with these, and then if I don't like them, I'm gonna unhaul them, but that'll make more room. Hopefully my dog's not knocked over my camera. Luna's being a bit of a diva right now, and Nova is laying right here with me. Also, it is very loud. We live next to like a highway, so hopefully I'm able to isolate my voice, but this is where I need to film. Currently, it's where I'm sitting, so this is where we're gonna be filming. But I wanted to do the chapter challenge for these 4 books. These 4 books have been sitting on my shelves for forever, and I'm like, look, if I read the first chapters and I don't like them, I'm going to unhaul them, whether that be selling them, donating them, whatever. So I am really quickly going to read the first chapters of each of these. The first one is All Stirred Up by Brianne Moore. But it says, Susan Napier's family once lived on the success of high-end restaurants founded by her late grandfather, but bad luck and worse management have brought the business to the edge of financial ruin. Now it's up to Susan to save the last remaining restaurants. Elliot's, the flagship in Edinburgh. But what awaits her in the charming city is more than she bargained for. Chris Baker, her grandfather's former protege, and her ex-boyfriend is also heading to the Scottish capital. Probably chapel. But I'm gonna read this really quick and see what I think of it. I don't really like second chance romances, so we shall see how I feel about it. This came out in 2020, so it's a bit of a backlog book. I think this one's gonna get unhauled. I don't know, I'm not vibing with the writing style, to be honest. It is first person, which is nice. I do like a first person, but I don't really think that this one's gonna be for me. So the next one is Conventionally Yours. This is the one that I think I'm gonna like the most. This is male romance. I haven't really read a whole lot of male romances that are like this, like that are graphic, I guess I could say. Like I've read plenty of gay romances, but nothing that has like sex in it. So I try to stay away from like that straight white lady, although I'm not straight, I'm bisexual, but like straight white lady who, you know, reads a lot of male romances. I know that's like a thing, and I don't judge people for it, but I don't want to fall into that stereotype. But this is charming, charismatic, and effortlessly popular. Conrad Stewart seems to have it all, but in reality, he's scrambling to keep his life from falling apart. Brilliant, guarded, and endlessly driven, Alden Roth is the poster boy for perfection, but even he can't help but feel a little broken inside. When these mortal enemies are struck together on a cross-country road trip to the biggest fan convention of their lives, their infamous rivalry takes a backseat as an unexpected connection grows. So this one also came with like a card for them, as well as obviously the sign. This was back when bakery used to still be a thing, so hopefully, I think all of these actually were. So I'm gonna go ahead and bust out oh, this is cute, the little picture book. Okay, Let me bust out the first chapter of this really quick. I think I'm just gonna keep this one for now. I've had these other two like on my shelves for forever, so technically I guess I should, let me see, I might keep one of the other ones. I don't know. Neither one of these sound like something I want to read. You Deserve Each Other is about I don't know. It says Naomi Westfield has a perfect fiance. Nicholas Rhodes holds doors open for her, remembers her restaurant orders, and comes from the kind of upstanding society family any bride would love to be a part of. They never fight. They're preparing for their lavish wedding that's 3 months away, and she is miserably and utterly sick of him. So I think this is like they are engaged but hate each other. Doesn't really sound like something I want to read either. And then I have Not the Girl You Marry by Andy Christopher. This is Jack Nolan is a gentleman, a journalist, and unlucky in love. His viral success has pigeonholed him as the how-to guy for a buzzy internet media company instead of covering hard-hitting politics. Fed up with his fluffy articles and the app-based dating scene as well, he strikes a deal with his boss to write a final piece de resistance, How to Lose a Girl. Easier said than done when the girl he meets is Hannah Mayfield, and he's not sure he wants her to dump him. And I know Hannah's like trying to get up like the career ladder or whatever. And I don't know, neither of these really sound like something that I want to read, and I have so many books on my shelves and so many books that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to get rid of All Stirred Up, You Deserve Each Other, and Not the Girl You Marry. And these are going to go to great homes. Like, they're signed and everything, so I am going to probably put these in the free little library at work. But yeah, I am really excited to read Conventionally Yours. This sounds, it's super cute so far. But yeah, I guess that's it for this update. I'm gonna go put this back on my shelves. Cars are so loud. And then I'm gonna put the other three in our donate pile. Rocco and I have quite a big donate pile going on already. But yeah. Oh my god. Only bookworms will understand. Okay, so this is the new romance section. We have all my Alyssa K. Adams stuff. We have my Hannah Grace collection. I don't care what anyone says. Love that series. We have my 2 books by Kristen Boyce, especially the one that my dog chewed. Put my Ali Hazelwoods here, my 2 Belle Cabra books, and then Red, White, and Royal Blue. I don't have anything else by Casey, so that's where those went. And then here are the other ones. My new loves, everything by Lila Sage. Anything. I need to get the 3rd one from Talia Hibbert for this series as well. And then I have my Heartstopper books, my book of the months, and then we go into my like graphic novels and manga, and then my saga collection. I also need to find somewhere to put these. Anybody else still have all their book sleeves? I still use these all the time. And then we have my little car collection. If you guys didn't know, I'm in the automotive industry and I love cars. This is my dream car. It's my big Volvo wagon, but this is what I own. We have a GTI, and then we have a Tiguan, both by Volkswagen. If you know, a little bit of fun knowledge. I guess we can file it under fun facts you didn't know about me. I only drive Volkswagen because I apparently like oil leaks, if you know anything about cars. All right, we're gonna start in on the fantasy. So I have a couple of books that need to fit in there. I have a lot that are sideways. I just need to decide what I'm doing with some of them. My Aragon copy, I'm actually reading this book right now, so this can come off the shelf. Let's see what we're working with here. So Aragon I'll put to the side. Okay. So here's what I need to fit. I have, where is it? So many books. So my Alex Harrows all go in the front because I love them. And then all my Robin Hobbs are sideways, so that's not too bad. But here are, like, all the books in front are the books that I need to fit up here. So we have my Rhapsodic series. I am going to put that on the fantasy section. My Scarlett St. Clair books are going to go there. That is fantasy. What's Salkill Girls going to? I don't even know. Okay, so Sorcery of Thorns. I think these can also go. I have the Spellslinger series. I think that can go sideways. See, but then it sticks out. Oh my god. So that'll go there. And then Sorcery of Thorns. This is a thriller. I believe these are also fantasy. That here, no, that looks ugly. This here. Hey, can I fit evocation there? Is it small enough? Nope. Okay. So evocation won't fit there. I have these two big boys. I love me a big floppy paperback, but the Throne of the Fallen is like a weird size. I think Throne of the Fallen can go up here with Quicksilver, and then I think evocation can go over here. Oh, see, it's too tall. Drives me bananas. Let's put this here. And then let's see if evocation will fit here. Aha! It will. Okay. And then, oh shit, I have all these ones down here too. Yeah, this is where a lot of the stuff's gonna happen, is when I need to move all this over. Okay, so here's where a lot of the stuff's gonna happen. Can you guys see? Okay, you can. So this is my like general fiction and my sci-fi, but a lot of this needs to get shuffled. So let me, probably can't see what I'm doing down here, but it has to happen. Okay, so move all my Stephen King, or books that are not Stephen King, over so that I can shuffle the stuff that's over here on this end down a shelf, because of course I'm running out of room. All of this can go over one. Let's see what we've got here. Y'all, I need to get those like riser things. The only books that I don't mind that are like straight and then on top of each other are the Dark Tower series. I want to buy like a full complete series, but I just have the box set right now with like the big thick paper, or a big thick hardcover. So eventually I'll finish that series. But I'll move this over. Okay, and then some of my general fiction, I'm gonna come down onto my horror shelf. I still don't know that I'm gonna have enough room. Okay, let's see. Strangers, I'll put these Kristen Hannah's down here. Of course it doesn't fit. How about any of these? Okay. Should I put autobiography with my other Christina Lauren books? I don't fucking know. And I don't break anything up into like YA or, you know, whatever. I just do everything kind of like where it makes the most sense. So that's a sci-fi book. Why is that over here? Okay, so this is general fiction. Is Sawkill Girls fantasy? This over. This over. Y'all, I still don't think I'm gonna have enough freaking room. Okay. Sci-fi. This goes here. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Sci-fi. I feel like Jurassic Park is sci-fi, right? I put that in here. Okay, now we're getting into fantasy. Where should I put Not So Perfect Strangers? See, this is not general fiction. Like where, whatever, I'll put it over here for now. I don't really own any thrillers, so we'll put that with those ones. And I'm gonna put these back here. Okay, the fantasy section. I feel like between fantasy and romance, this is where I'm running out of room. I'm currently reading the second book in the Foxbook King series, so I need to keep that out. And I don't know where my copy of the second book for Kings of the Wild is. I know Rocco read it, but maybe I'll let somebody borrow it. I don't know, but I'll find that. And then Rhapsodic. So I think what I'm gonna do is keep, let's see, will these fit? Will these fit? Hey, so I'm gonna put Bookshops and Bone Dust and Legends and Latte on its side. And then I'm gonna put my Rhapsodic series on there. And then I'm also gonna put my Scarlet St. Clair series. And then for now, until I find Bloody Rose, I'm gonna put Kings of the Wild there. And yeah, I think that is done. Let me show you guys where we landed. Okay, so this is the starting of the fantasy section. So I have my Alex Harrow, Priory of the Orange Tree, which I almost bought a second copy of, all my James Islington books, everything by Robin Hobb. This whole series, which I actually need to try to figure out if I actually even want to read it. These two, I've read the first one, a couple of other books, and then we go into a little bit, oh, there's Bloody Rose, god damn it. But yeah, and then down here we have my ACOTAR series, some more fantasy, and then at these books, this is where sci-fi starts. So this is all my sci-fi and general fiction, and then down on the bottom shelf is all of my horror. That was like the most chaotic half-assed bookshelf tour that I think I've ever done. But Rocco's on his way home with groceries, and then we are driving across town to make brunch with some friends. So I'm gonna cut this off here. I am so sorry that that's like the view you got of my bookshelves. They have not changed much in the last couple of years other than the additional books that I've acquired over the last few months. If you want to see that haul, I'll put it up here, but I'm gonna get ready. And by get ready, I mean go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, finish my coffee, get ready to help Rocco bring groceries in, and then we are gonna hit the road. So I'll see you guys in my next update. This was not a reading update at all, and I will fill you in later. Okay, so I didn't get to film a wrap up on Sunday because I was having an allergic reaction to something. I don't know what I'm having an allergic reaction to, but it's all on my neck and like my chin and part of my chest, and it's driving me absolutely bananas. But I still wanted to kind of film it so that you guys had it, and so I have like a record of it. I really wanted to stick to doing it weekly, and I don't want to have to talk about all the books that I read next month. So the first book that I read is Frankly in Love. This follows Frank Lee. He is Korean American, so we're talking about more, I think, like traditional strict Korean parents and like finding a good girlfriend for him. But essentially he starts dating a white girl, and him and his friend, who's part of like a group, because Korean Americans are very like family oriented. Like they hang out with other Korean Americans. They try to you know, kind of keep it as like a unit, which I actually think is fantastic. But he ends up dating this white girl, and to make sure that his parents don't understand what's happening, he starts fake dating another Korean American that's kind of like in that family unit. And obviously things don't go as planned, but this was so fun. This had so many like life lessons and stories that I think a lot of books don't ever really get to talk about, because it's written by a Korean author about a Korean American family, and I think it was just very poignant. Like it was very fun. Like I loved Frank, I loved the other characters in the book as well, but I just thought it had so much more going for it than I think it did at surface level. So I would definitely recommend that one. And then the next book I read was not at all what I thought it was going to be, but I just randomly saw this on like a recommended list for like YA readers for like romance, and I guess I would classify this more as like thriller romance, which I haven't read any like adult thriller romances. I don't really read thrillers at all, to be honest, but I really liked this one. It is The Girls I've Been by Tessa Sharp. This follows Nora and her girlfriend and then her ex-boyfriend, and they go to a bank to donate money for like a charity that they're running. And while they're there, the bank gets like held up at gunpoint. So very interesting story, like fantastic. You get to learn all about like Nora and her past and like what she goes through. I would say like trigger warnings for some like abuse and things like that. But the two main characters, so we have like gay representation because the two main characters are girlfriend and girlfriend. Fucking loved that. They were fantastic. I loved their relationship, even if like it's weird because they're like being held up at gunpoint in this bank. Like there's a bank heist that's going on, but there are flashbacks for their story, and it was just chef's kiss. I really liked this one as well. And like I said, even though I don't read thrillers, I thought that one was really good. And then I read More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. This is my first Adam Silvera book that I've ever read. But it follows Aaron Soto, and essentially his dad, trigger warning for suicide, but his dad ends up killing himself, and then Aaron attempts to kill himself, and it's touted as like a sci-fi novel, and I could kind of see that. There is an organization that like changes like memories and things for people. It helps people with like PTSD, people who've been to war, people who've gone through really horrific things in their life. So I thought that was a really freaking cool premise. And Aaron is essentially like dating a girl, thinks he's in love with her, but then starts kind of falling for his best friend. I guess the theme for the month was like LGBT. Like I feel like I read like a lot of LGBT, but this one so much more than I thought it was gonna be. Like we have talks on like life, the meaning of life, like choosing to live and what love means and like being true to yourself, and it was just like, I don't want to give it away because the ending can be going like, wait, what? Like, but it was also fantastic. And then the last book I read follows our main character Faye, but it is The Soundless, or just Soundless by Rachel Mead, or Rochelle Mead. But this follows Faye, and she lives in a village, and her sister do like the daily like writings like for what happens in the village. But what's weird is in the village no one can hear, like no one has the gift of being able to hear, but they have, you know, like their other senses are like heightened. Well, one day Faye starts being able to hear, and essentially what the village does is they mine silver and they send it like down the mountain to this other village, and then they give them like food in exchange. They can't leave it, everything is blocked off, so eventually people start losing their sight, and they're like, what the heck is going on? So her and a gentleman that she is kind of has a past relationship with decide to climb down the mountain to figure out what's going on. And that's really all I'll say because I don't want to give away too much. It definitely had like mythological vibes to it, like there were gods and, you know, things like that in the book as well. It is like Asian like themed, so I thought that that was really cool. However, I did not like this book. I was talking to a friend about it on Instagram. It just really lacked, like there were certain parts of the book that I thought were really cool, and I think the author does a really good, like Rochelle does a really good, like she's really good at like kind of painting a picture for you in your head. Like I feel like the descriptions of things are really beautiful, but I feel like the characters felt really flat, and you're supposed to really care for like what they're going through, but I just found it almost damn near impossible to give a fuck about like what was happening to the characters. I was just so ready for this book to be over. I read it in like 2 or 3 days, which for me, I tend to read YA a little bit faster, and I don't necessarily think that has anything to do with like YA being easier to read and things like that. I just think it's like more sometimes easily digestible for me. There's like less that I need to like figure out. Once again, not a slight on YA, like I do like YA. It's just, I don't know, like I just tend to read it a little bit quicker. And so for me, like this book dragging on for 3 days, like what is happening? Like I could not find myself like the will to want to read it, and that was really sad. But that was the only book I read in the last like week. I would say it's the only book I read this year that I didn't really enjoy, so that was kind of sad. But those are the books that I read this week. I am currently in the middle of reading a ton. I'm almost done with A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Absolutely loving that. I'm still reading Gone as well, and then I'm also reading, I picked up another book, The Gravity of Us, and I'm really liking that so far. I'm like barely into it, but so far it's really interesting. We have like our main character who's like, I don't know, it's like sci-fi kind of themed. And then I'm also reading The Davenports by Crystal Marquis, so really liking that one as well. And like I said, I'll do a wrap-up video or like a recommendations video on like the YA romance that I'm reading, but that's gonna be the update for today. I'll try to update you guys a little bit later. I'm getting back in the habit of like sitting down and filming and doing, you know, stuff like that. Also, I don't know if I had these tattoos. When did I get these? I got new tattoos on my fingers. I just realized you guys have been wanting updates, and I'm gonna try to include that in this video. I might try to include it here. It's been, oh, what, over a year since y'all have seen me. A lot has happened. A lot has transpired. I'm back. I know the last video that I posted was me telling you that I was done with YouTube. I was gonna go off, let me put my bookshelves in the background, do my own thing, but yeah, have some kind of updates for you, I guess. I don't know if this will be a vlog or this will just be a video. More than likely it'll be a vlog. Let me find somewhere that I can put you guys so I'm not holding you. I don't even know where all of my like filming equipment is. Like I have no idea where, like I don't even know what it's called anymore, the thing that I put my camera on. I have no idea where that is, so give me a second and I will be right back. No, but really, like I I don't know how to change the brightness on this. Whatever. Hopefully I remember how to edit things. So yeah, I'm back. I have a cup of coffee finally. If I look like shit, let me tell you about what has happened to me in the last 48 hours. My birthday was yesterday. I turned 35. Fantastic. Had a wonderful time. The weekend before, Rocco took me to Barnes & Noble and was like, hey, you can buy whatever books you can carry. In case you're wondering, it's 13. Had a wonderful birthday. My mom sent me some other books. It was just fantastic. Yesterday was my actual birthday. I live in Ohio. If you guys didn't know, we had an ice storm last night, or night before last. I was leaving for work wearing tennis shoes, stepped outside and was like, oh, it's just wet. I'll be fine. Took off walking, holding a gigantic bag of like my lunch food. And then also my big bag that has like my books and everything that I need for work, and a massive cup of coffee in my left hand. Completely ate it to the point where I fell on my right side, hit my head on the outside of our house, or the apartment that we're renting, and gave myself a mild concussion. So if I look like crap, it's because I have been in so much pain and dizzy that I haven't been able to like get up, get ready, do all of that. But it's not going to deter me, because I decided that this weekend was the weekend that I was going to start filming again. Another update, as you can tell, we are not in the same location we were in the last time I filmed, just to give you guys kind of an overview here. Very, very different from our last place, because we sold our house. So, oh, my cat's being wild. Phoenix, Phoenix, you wanna see what my cat's fucking doing? Let me show you what my cat's doing. Bubba, are you supposed to be up there? I love all my animals equally, but he pushes me to the edge pretty much every day. So we did move. We sold our house. It's one of the things that happened over the last year. We've been in our new apartment for about 3 months now, just shortly before Christmas. I want to say we moved in November. So we've been here for a little while now. We love it. We ended up selling the house because it was just a good time to sell. And with the market for both of our jobs, we were like, hey, we don't want to be tied to a gigantic home loan. We just want to rent. I'm in the automotive industry. Rocco's in an alternative industry, which I don't really like to talk about. So that's just his business. It's nothing like shady or salacious or anything like that, but it's just his business. So we did end up selling the house and moved into an apartment, and we do love it here. It's very quaint, very cozy, very just like everything that, you know, we kind of wanted in a little apartment. It's like a duplex. We have a 2-car garage. We have a little outdoor space. The only downside is that we don't have a backyard anymore for the girls. So now they have to go on so many walkies a day, which they do love. So that's the other update that I have the same job, still working the same job, still loving it. I am, like I said, in the automotive industry, so we're doing really good there. So yeah, been just staying busy, hanging out with friends, just reading a ton. I know I haven't been on here, but last year, I think my wrap up ended at 105 books. I've just been reading a lot. I've been going through some stuff mentally, which, like, what is new? Louie, what are you doing? You want to say hi? Oh, you want coffee. My dogs love coffee. You can't have coffee. Not right now. You can lick my cup when I'm done. So yeah, just been reading a ton and going to work and hanging out with friends and moving and, you know, just like the normal stuff. I am officially 35 years old, so I guess yesterday showed me that I'm actually an adult now. When you fall and seriously injure yourself and can't like immediately bounce back, I think you've finally hit that point, you know, when you're younger and you look at people and you're like, oh, when am I gonna feel like an adult? I'll let you know. When you injure yourself and you don't just like feel okay or feel like you can just keep going, like I had to call out of work 2 days in a row, so, you know, not doing so great there. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I don't ever want to tell people like what to do or not to do with like their mental health journey, but I have been on medicine for about 1.5 years now. It took a while for me to really start seeing the benefits of it, and sometimes I still doubt whether or not I'm getting benefits, but I don't know, I just think about the situation sometimes where I'm feeling really anxious or, you know, whatever I might be dealing with, and I think about how hard it might be if I wasn't on my medicine. So I'm definitely feeling better, and I'm to a point now where I think my last video I talked about how I wanted reading and the things that I do to be more of a hobby for me and less about like the performative aspect of it. And another thing I really struggled with at the time was this discourse on kind of like a mob mentality and fighting against things and doing all this stuff, which I think is really worthwhile. But I think the scope that I was involved in it on the internet can be really suffocating. And so for me, I was like, look, like I want to have those conversations with like people in my life and people that I interact with. And I don't want to dedicate all my time to doing stuff like that online. And while I am very vocal about like things that are important to me and the injustices, it just became like really mentally overwhelming for me. So I wanted to take a step back for that reason too. I felt like I wasn't enough. It's something that I struggle with my OCD. I have pure OCD, so mine's more like cognitive and mental. So it can be really exhausting trying to be involved in everything, and then it makes you doubt yourself, whether or not you're a good person, and you know, all of this stuff. So I just decided that, you know, I didn't really want to deal with that anymore. And around that same time, we also lost one of our cats. My cat that I've had for years, Azura, you guys have seen her in my videos before. She ended up passing away very, very suddenly. So my mental health took a hit then. And then Rocco lost his grandmother, and then shortly after that I lost my grandmother. So I just was like, I need to step back. Like I need to make reading my escape again. And that's really what I want this channel to be again. I know that I said I was going to delete it and I was going to go off and do something else, but this is reading and books, and nothing fills me with joy as much as that. And video games do to an extent, but reading is just like this perfect escape for me, and it's my first love, and it has always been and will always be. So yeah, and my approach to this channel, or like my goals for 2025, because people are kind of talking about them, would just be to enjoy it again. I think that I've seen a lot of posts that are like, not all of your hobbies need to be monetized, not all of your hobbies need to be something that you're making money off of or gaining followers from or doing something like that. And that's really why I started my channel to begin with, was to make friends, to like connect with people, and I want to get back to that. So that's the goal. I have been doing some testing for some other like mental health stuff, and it's really personal stuff that I probably won't share, but just knowing a little bit more about yourself and why you think the way that you do or act the way that you do, or you know, things like that. It gives a good sense of clarity. So I am really, really excited to get back into it. My Instagram is up and running. I'll link it down below. I don't really have any plans on doing anything, you know, like crazy with it. I might take some like, you know, a couple of curated photos, but most of my photos so far have just been like, hey bitches, this is what I'm reading. Like, this is what I'm doing, without any of the like fancy stuff. It's just not me. Like I don't know, like I don't have the time, I work 50 hours a week. I don't have the time or the energy, on top of having 4 animals and, you know, like a career and like all this stuff, to like take photos like that as much as I would want to. So yeah, but I've been just trying to get back in the habit of filming, and it's hard to like pick up a camera, and I feel like my presence and my voice and everything changes like when I start to film, and it takes me a second to like get back into talking to like a normal person. And I think that just comes down to, and I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to this, but if you film or do content or even work in customer service, like you kind of lose like a little piece of yourself when you sit down to kind of film. Like anyone who says they don't is lying. Like I don't know, I think there's this fear of, am I gonna be liked for like who I am? And it also comes from like, you only know like brief parts of a human being from what you get to see online. Like you guys don't know like, you know, everything about me. Like there are a lot of things outside of reading that I really love that you guys don't know about, or like I'm really into cars and, you know, like music and things like that. Like I love going to concerts and things like that. I just think that there is just only so much that you can kind of know about somebody when they film a video, like whether that be even a vlog or it be like a sit down video. Like to an extent you want it to be curated. Like I want to come on here and be like wearing makeup and looking all pretty and, you know, like best foot forward, because if you don't, then the worry is that people won't want to watch it. And like right now, since I like stopped my YouTube channel and then started it up again, like my views have been really low, and I'm trying not to let that kind of get to me. But I did disappear for almost 2 years, right? Like you're just kind of like forgotten on the internet, I think, when you've been gone for a while, and I'm really okay with that. And I think I'm trying to become okay with like, even if my video only reaches like 100 people, that's 100 fucking people. Like if you put 100 people in a room, I'd probably shit myself like from nerves. But it's also like, am I like a has-been, or, you know, whatever. Like I think that there's And like I said, just like this worry that like maybe I'm not enough, or like maybe people won't like me. And I don't really want to get like caught up in that. I just want to like make stuff and film and, you know, be me online and like talk to you guys and like all this stuff. And I want that to be enough. And I think it's just like, I don't know, it just like worries me. And you know, you like come on and you're like, oh, like I feel like I know you. And I feel like I put like out who I am, right? Like, but also at the same time, you're like, if my stuff isn't curated and it's not pretty, like, are people gonna want to watch it? Because that's what people kind of like want to watch right now. And that was never my goal. My goal was never to have like a bunch of subscribers, but it is hard, I think, when you see like low viewer count, or like you lose subscribers. I think I'm like kind of teetering at like, I think I lose some and gain some, so I stay pretty much even. So it's not like hitting me too much, but as somebody who just genuinely like wants to connect with people, I think it can be kind of hard to see that. So I don't know, I'm rambling. I feel like that means I should stop doing this. I'm gonna finish A Study in Drowning. My goal, like I'm listening to the audiobook, which, can we take a moment, is a gorgeous audiobook, like fantastic. Love the narrator. She does like male and female voices like perfectly, and she has like a little bit of a British accent. I just absolutely fucking love it. But I'm gonna finish that today. That is my goal. But the other problem is, let me just continue to ramble, okay? I feel like I don't get to talk to you guys. Rocco and I started playing Split Fiction, which is a new like Xbox game. And if you have like a partner, a friend, whatever, that you guys love playing like 2-player couch co-op games, I'm telling you, Split Fiction. Not only is it fucking hilarious, it is also mildly difficult. Well, I don't want to say difficult, it's challenging, so it's not boring. And we played the first game, I think it's called It Takes Two. We played that together as well, and we just love like, you know, hanging out and playing that. So we're just like giggling like little girls. Like every night we come home from work and we like walk the dogs, make dinner, and then just immediately run to the Xbox. Like, I just absolutely love it. So that's what I've been doing. So like my updates, I'm like, I could update people, but then I also hate filming in front of Rocco. This man has seen me naked. Like, this is my partner. I have been with him for 5 years. Like, he has seen every inch of me. Like, you know, he's seen me at my worst when I'm like struggling and all this shit. But heaven forbid he see me film. Like, it feels so weird. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. But I will update you guys once I finish A Study in Drowning. That might be after work tonight. If I'm gonna try to find it on ebook, because I have the physical book, but I'm listening to it on audiobook. But I'm gonna quit rambling. I love you guys. I'll see you in my next update. Nova, you wanna say hi? Okay, does anyone else's dogs like only, look, this is all she ever does. Nova, you done hoovering your butthole? Don't sneeze on me. Don't sneeze on me. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Do I gotta face you? Face the camera to you? Nova, you gonna say hi? No, don't lick me. Nova. Nova, get out of your butt. Get out of your butt. Nova. You're gross. And here's the thing. People are always like, oh, if your dog does that, you need to get their anal glands expressed. I'm sorry, this is a lot for a vlog. That's not true with larger dogs. You don't have to do that. And anytime we've been like, hey, our dog's like really going at it with her butt, they're like, oh, we'll express them for you. Oh, there's nothing in there. No, my dog just really likes her own ass, which is pretty gross and alarming and disgusting. But yeah, that's gonna be enough for this vlog, or for this update, because I'm tired of talking about my dog's asshole. This is the reality of trying to film with dogs. You come up? You gonna come up?
I love this
one.
This is so fun to do.
Come in. Like, I can't do anything without them. What you doing, Lou? No, but you gotta move. I'm trying to make the bed, baby. Give me this. Give me this. It's your sister. You keep growling. Well, this is Louie's ball anyway. No, your sissy had it. Okay. Everybody out. Let's go. Get up.
It's such a cute switch.
Come on, buddy.
Great coffee, and I've been like waiting
Buddy
tonight.
Oh, God.
Let's try that before we
It's a pit bull, they said. They're so sweet and cuddly. Street killers. I hear y'all are violent. I hear you're a violent breed. Here, you're a violent breed. You wanna play? Can Mama make the bed, please? Can I make the bed, please? I'll love you for forever. You let me make the bed. Come on, Nova. Get on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Nova. Let's go. Good girl. Well, maybe lock you up. Does anybody else have to sleep with a knee pillow? Rocco and I literally spoon when we sleep, but we have to have a pillow in between our legs.
So cute.
No! Y'all, get out! Get out! Get out! Oh, what?
To play
Come on.
Pizza Great Pizza
No.
on a plane. Because
No,
it doesn't
Mom,
need
get
it.
out of the
You just get on the plane, then you're on the phone.
It is technically spring, but you can pry my winter blankets out of my cold, dead hands. Look at this thing. It's so fluffy. I'll show you guys when I'm done. Okay, so this is the blanket. It's very thick. It's very, I was gonna say soft. It's very soft. Like I said, it's very, very thick. The only downside to it is that it does shed a little bit. But this is from a brand called, I want to say, sorry, I just hit Nova with the tripod. I'm sorry, Novi. It is by a brand called the Coma Inducer. Nova is a big fan. Nova, you gonna lay down, girl? So yeah, if you can find them, I think I got mine on Amazon before I stopped shopping on Amazon. But if you can find one, I would recommend. They're very, very thick, very plush, very soft, the perfect winter blanket, but I don't want to get rid of it. I just love it that much. So it does keep you very, very warm, and I would recommend it. Like Nova's like, ooh, bed's made, getting in. Anybody else, like, do y'all let your dog sleep with you? Our dogs do sometimes, but Nova is kind of like, thinks that sleeping, that like bed is her bed. So when she sleeps with us, she like oftentimes she will sleep just like that. But she does it in between the two of us. So she will like, I've got like her face on my face. Rocco's got like his, you know, like her legs are, you know, all over the top of him. So it can be annoying. Made the bed, so that's good. I need to tackle the office. This is our desk that we normally work at. And then there's like the vanity area, TV and dresser are behind me. But I need to tackle this because the dogs have just made it an absolute nightmare in there. God, I forgot how to vlog. You can't even hold my vlog camera. Like, who even am I? First and foremost is, what is all of this laundry? You don't know. Huh. Normally we have a big laundry basket in our bathroom. Yeah, the only other thing I need to do is tidy up a little bit in here, and I should be good, other than laundry. Who's laying over there? Lou, are you posing for the camera? I think that that is enough cleaning for the day. Like already, that's enough for me. I am tired. I'm over it. This is the kitchen. I don't know, do you guys want a tour? This is the kitchen. I actually really like this because it's like open. So there's like our TV, bookshelves are on the other side of this wall. See the bookshelves? So when you're sitting here, you can like see all the windows and the couch. And Nova likes to like sit on the couch and stare into the kitchen, as any good pit bull does. Just wants to like watch mom and dad cook. But yeah, I am gonna hang out and try to get some content filmed for the week and figure out like what the rest of the week looks like. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off for now. What are you doing? Okay. Pitbulls don't love gently. They love with such ferocity. But I'm gonna end the vlog here probably. Thank you for being patient, bearing with me while I'm trying to figure out like filming and, you know, vlogging, and my camera's not even focused. Filming and vlogging and doing all of that. This has been kind of a stressful week. Got some stuff going on with family, you know, kind of a little bit of, you know, concern going on, and people are experiencing things, so I've been kind of out of it a little bit this week, and I know I committed to vlogging a little bit more, but, you know, I'm not going to tell their stories and, you know, put that on the internet. You want to say hi, Bean? You guys remember Laura? Beanie? Meow. She was in a live with me once on my channel. But yeah, so what are you doing? I did finish A Study in Drowning, which I did like. I don't know if I liked it enough to read the next one. I think if I do read the next one, it'll be on audiobook again. I think the audiobook was really, really good. I think if I was reading it, I don't know if I would have loved it as much, but I'm gonna end this here. I haven't finished another singular book all week. Just really been, you know, chugging along, doing life stuff. Oh my god, cat butt. Ma'am, do you mind? What are you doing, Beanie? I'm also having a horrible allergic reaction. I'm actually allergic to cats. But I've never had an allergic reaction like this, so I don't know if it's from my cats or if my dog was rolled in something. I don't know. So just I'm dealing with so much right now. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this vlog. Thank you for, like I said, being patient and just hanging out with me. But I love you, and I will see you in my next one.